Welcome to How to Buy a Home with Little or No Money Down and how you can be able to get an interest rate that's better than what's going on in the market. My name is Dan Roshan. I'm a local real estate agent. I've been helping home buyers just like you ever since 2007. There's not a nook or cranny in the DMV area that I don't know, and it's a privilege to be able to present to you today. I want to explain to you the components of buying a home, of the money. Okay, so there's, first of all, we're going to put it into two components. We're going to put it into the down payment, and then on the other side, we're going to put it into the closing costs. So those are two different buckets of money. The down payment is how much money the lender's going to require for you to put into the deal so that they can loan you the money. The closing costs, those are the things such as the home appraisal, the inspection, the lender's fees, the title insurance, the recordation fee, the title fees, the survey, the flood recertification or certification rather. Those are some of the costs that you could expect for closing. These typically take 2 to 5%. Now that's important that you know that there's a difference of closing costs versus down payment, because what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to be able to accommodate for both so you can get into a home with very little into it. Now, before I explain that to you, I want you to understand that getting a home with little or no money down is challenging, but it is absolutely possible. And so there's some different ways that we can do this. The first way would be, if you're a veteran, thank you for your service. I'm a veteran as well. And you probably qualify for what's called a VA loan. A VA loan is one for a current or former military member that you can be able to get a loan, and it's going to be guaranteed by the VA. And so in this case, guess what? Zero down payment. Now, maybe you're not a veteran. If you're not a veteran, there's some different loan products, one called a USDA loan. A USDA loan is a loan program where you're buying a home in a rural area. The thing to know about this is that it's going to be very situational about like where you can buy the home. It's going to have to be a rural area. And there's a little bit of a complicated process to be able to get the loan that takes longer than most other loans. See, most other loans are going to take you around 30 days from the point that you write the offer that gets accepted to the point that you go to closing. That's your due diligence period. And most other loans take around that full 30 days to be able to get set up to get you the money. USDA loans typically take longer. We like to look at 45 to 60 days to sort of budget for it. And the reason for it is because it's got to go through a dual process. It has to be approved from the lender, but then it also has to be approved from the government as well, which makes it a longer process. Other ways that you can be able to get a home with like no money down would be a down payment assistance program, such as VHDA. Other ways that you can be able to get a home with little or no money down include an FHA loan, which typically be around 3.5% of a down payment that you're going to have to get for that. Again, that's a little bit more money out of your pocket, but it's relatively reduced. We can get this as little as zero with some of these programs though. You can get gift funds. So if you have any family members, are going to be willing to be able to help you out with, with your down payment, they can provide you with a monetary gift. And now you need to make sure that you follow certain rules and criteria to be able to apply that to your down payment, which is why we should talk so I can make sure that you set that up properly. Some credit unions, some community banks may have some programs where they're going to require less. And then lastly, there's a lease to own option that you may consider. Even if you don't have great credit, I just actually did this 2 weeks ago where we had a buyer. They had less than stellar credit. They wanted to buy. They had a little bit of money, but they weren't ready to get qualified from a bank. So what we did was I contacted one of my investors, the national investors. They bought the home. And then they took that home and they lease optioned it to the buyer. And they pay rent, which you may be currently doing right now, paid rent every single month. And then they also paid a little bit of additional of an option deposit so that 18 months from now, the buyer has the option to buy that home from the investor who bought it today. So that's a way that we can get you into a home that's a little bit of a delayed way. But if you have poor credit and you have no money, hey, it is an option. So VHD is the Virginia Housing Development Authority. It's a state program that they take private funds, and then they take those private funds and they grant them to a home buyer, and you don't have any obligation to pay it back. Now, to be able to get one of these grants, you have to attend a class. I'll put some links into the page here for you to sign up for one of the classes. I teach them live once or twice a month. It's an 8-hour class, and you have to go through, take the class, and then you are eligible to be able to then get a VHDA loan. The advantage of a VHDA loan are that you're not going to have to come up with any money for that down payment. Remember, there's down payment and there's closing costs. But for the down payment, we can get that covered, and we can also, through some of their grant programs, we can also get some of the other fees, etc., to be able to be covered as well. Really, every single situation is different, so I recommend that we set up a time to talk about your situation because it's unique. So who qualifies for a Virginia housing loan? So to be able to qualify, they have certain income requirements. So you can't make too much money, but you got to make a certain amount of money. But then also they have different amounts of money that they'll grant per the price of the home that you're going to be buying. I think I mentioned previously that with the VHDA loan, it's going to be eligible if you're a first-time home buyer, but there are some stipulations that will allow for you to get a second, to do it a second time if you're not a first-time home buyer. But it's going to be for a personal residence. It's not going to be for an investment property. And that is one of the best ways that you can be able to get a down payment paid for, and you get that down payment paid for from grant from the state. There's other state programs available. There's other local municipality programs available. Now, I mentioned to you previously, there's the down payment. We're going to take care of the down payment through a grant program. And then there's the closing costs. Now, the closing costs, this is going to apply into how you can get the seller to pay for your loan so that you can get better than market rates. And here's the way to do that. When we write the offer that gets accepted, one of the things that we can do, and this is a little known thing, most agents don't even realize this, is that we can get the seller to pay towards some of your closing costs. A part of that is that we can take some of the subsidy, we call that a subsidy, where the seller pays some of your closing costs, where we could take some of that money or all that money and we can apply it to the loan that you're getting in what's called a discount point. So typically a discount point, which is 1 point, would equal 1% of the loan. So let's say if it's a $500,000 home, 1% of that would be $5,000. We could get, in most cases, the seller to pay, let's call it $15,000, 3%, and we could take that 3% or $15,000, and we could take that and buy down with a discount point, buy down the interest rates. In most cases, 1 point or 1% of the loan that's paid up front will buy it down by about a 1/4%. So if interest rates are, let's say, 7%, and you get the seller to pay a portion of that, 1 point, then we could take that 7% interest rate and bring it down to 6.75% interest rate. We get them to pay 2 points, it's down to 6.5%. We get them to pay 3 points, 6.25%, etc. And so that's the way that we can beat the market, the conditions of the market right now in regards to the interest rate, and how we can get the seller to be able to pay it. Now, the seller can also provide concessions to provide for various other closing costs associated that I had mentioned to you previously, and that's something that we should absolutely consider depending on your scenario. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you're interested in setting up a one-on-one with me, I'm happy to answer your questions specifically. I'll put a link in the on the webpage here. I want to wish that you have the best day of your life. You be grateful, you go make good choices, go help somebody, and mostly I want to just say thank you for your time and God bless you.